The reason that we started and go down to South America was in the very beginning of our company, which is now 76 years old, that we grew a lot of our own flowers. My grandfather, he was a biology teacher, and my grandmother was really the start of the business because she was very artistic. They went and bought a used greenhouse, and my grandfather grew flowers for his wife to sell. And one thing led to another, and they kept buying used greenhouses. We never bought anything new. We got to a certain size in the retail side of the business that we didn't grow enough to fuel our retail business, so we started buying flowers from other parts of the United States. We didn't have the connection, so we had to go through wholesalers who sell to the retail florist, and their prices are really expensive. So we were always looking for a better source of product besides what we grew ourselves. And in the early 70s, what happened to the whole United States was the oil embargo. And we used to heat our greenhouses with what they call number 3 crude oil, which was almost like a black sludge. We would buy it for pennies. It was a byproduct of making home heating oil and I think gasoline, and we got it for like nothing. When the oil embargo took place, that number 3 crude oil quadrupled overnight. So when the price went up that much, that was the beginning of the end of growing flowers in mostly the Northeast and the United States. About that same time, somebody discovered a great growing environment down in Bogota, Colombia. They didn't have to have any heat source because their climate is a year-round fall, which is just perfect to grow flowers. We became aware of South American product, and for us, what the motivation was, well, this is a source of product that we can buy that we can go direct to the grower. Right now, every 3 days, we have a fresh flower shipment leaving from South America, and it comes up. They fly it from Bogota to Miami. Miami, we have a contract with a trucking firm that brings it right to us. That's in refrigeration the whole way. I mean, it's all very well orchestrated now. All these places, mostly it's Colombia. I'm going to go to Colombia, or I go to Colombia. Yeah, I was pretty young when I first started going down. It was over 30 years ago. And I remember my first visit to Bogota specifically. I went to Bogota and Medellin my first trip. You get to the airport and there's police or military, and they all have machine guns and rifles, and we're not used to that around here. You don't see that around here. And I thought, what am I doing? But it was just my father. He went with me once. He did go maybe 25 years later, but he was retired. He just wanted to see what it looked like 25 years later. He was amazed at the change. He hadn't been there for as long as I have, so the change from what he remembered to what it was unbelievable. I usually go 2 or 3 times a year. I go visit the people I currently deal with, to go out and look at the farm to make sure that they're prescribing to what I think are good procedures, good techniques. And I know enough about growing to be dangerous. When I was a kid and we had our greenhouses, we used to work in the greenhouses. I used to harvest roses. I used to do a lot of things that they now do, and they're a little bit more sophisticated at it now. But I'm the inspector. I go and I have a tool that they love when I bring this out. This measures the head size. So I'm looking for the head size. I'm looking at the stem thickness. Part of the evolution of me doing what I do at Valentine's Day, I never wanted to take the time to go and do this because it took so much time, but the pain I used to pay when I wouldn't go down to inspect in Miami or down to Bogota, I'd wait for the flowers to show up here. We're getting our roses, and we get hundreds of thousands of roses here. 5-6 days before Valentine's Day, they show up and they're bad. You have a huge problem. I try and time it that I'm at the farm when they're packing my boxes that go to Royers, and we have a company out in Ohio called Consummate Believe, but I'm there to make sure that they're doing everything right. I'm really tough when I go down there because I know what it's like to pay the price at the other end. So all this effort is to make sure it's all good flowers and that they last really long. Because, we have, in our industry, it's grown quite a bit. There's a lot of people that are in our category that weren't in before. There, we have a lot of new competitors. And, in our company, we have to do it better than anybody else. We can't be as good as some of the other people out there, the mass market companies that do this. We have to be a lot better, and we are, and it's because we work really hard at it, because that's the only thing we do. We do flowers, and we know flowers really well. The other times I go, when I'm not really there to inspect for holiday flowers, it's a little bit more relaxed. It's a wonderful experience. It was for me, just to have my kids there, and I would suggest it to anybody that if they ever have the opportunity to go somewhere with your kid where you're one-on-one, it's amazing, the relationship and the camaraderie and the things that you gain by that one-on-one. And I've had that very thing happen with me with 3 of my daughters. I would take them on my trips to South America so they could see what I see, what I do. But the thing that they've only ever wanted to do once was go down with me at Valentine's Day, because we're up at 5 o'clock in the morning. We're going out to see farms. We go from farm to farm, check it all out. We get back about 8 or 9 o'clock at night. We go to sleep. We get up the next morning. I mean, they really understood what it means when I go down to South America and what I do, especially at Valentine's Day.